Hello, friends, and welcome to Monday's Kings of Anglia Ipswich Town podcast light. This is going to be a shorter show today, just to wrap up the pre-season, look back at Millwall, and then we're going to bring you the big season preview extravaganza later on this week. The big porker will be with us. We don't know if Stu's going to be joining us yet from Cornwall, but it's going to be a big show. You don't want to miss it. I am Mark Heath, your host as ever. With me, Andy and Ross. I'm not going to bother with intros today, boys, because this is KOA light. Ipswich Town finished their pre-season campaign at home, Hutchie, on Saturday against Championship Millwall, and they were well beaten 3-0. Your thoughts, please.
First thoughts, KOA light. We tried to keep these light. They're never less than 45 minutes. So let's see what happens today. Well beaten by Millwall. You've got to remember they're a Championship team. That you don't get a more solid Championship team than Gary Rowett's Millwall, similar to Mick McCarthy's Ipswich in many ways. So real quality of opposition here who played their strongest side for the vast majority of it. But yeah, Ipswich were well beaten. The goals, watching them back, don't look great. But I'm going to get into it all. But it's only a pre-season game, so there's no reason to panic. But plenty of areas of concern have been highlighted, I would say.
Rossi, your general thoughts on the game before we get a bit further into things that we learned?
As it's light, I echo what Andy said. Let's move on. No, the thing, we lost 6-0 against Charlton under Mick McCarthy. I think it was his last pre-season probably, and we went on to have a really good start to the season. Of course, he still had pretty much the most of his squad, so that was just one of those things. But as you know, Andy said, it's only pre-season. It's all about fitness. Millwall are a pretty good side. Also, you got Bart in goal, which was great to see. Very much envious of his beard. I'm sure that's grown and he trims it more. Him and Mark Ashton, I need to improve this because this is a bit of a.
Well, to be fair, Bart's beard is kind of more you than Mark Ashton. Bart is kind of a more kind of mature version of your beard, isn't it? I mean, he's like your kind of older, bigger, cooler brother, really, with that beard, isn't he?
Pretty much.
Barty. Hutchie, you said before the game when we did this pod last week that we were going to learn things against Millwall. Looking forward to the season, the lineup, etc. What do you take away in terms of learning from the game? Can we take anything away from the lineup? Do you think?
Not hugely. We didn't learn what I thought we might learn from this lineup. Paul Cook kind of dropped a hint post-match where he kind of said there's probably players that haven't played in this game that are going to start next weekend, and then he very quickly kind of corrected himself. Probably, maybe, I don't know, but I think it's pretty clear. It's pretty clear to me that George Edmondson and Scott Fraser, if they get over little knocks, and I believe they are little knocks that kept them out of this game, I think they're likely to start next weekend, which in Edmondson's case means he'll be starting on the opening day without a single kind of pre-season game in an Ipswich shirt. And Fraser, he's kind of the great mystery for me because I want to see him as a number 10. We haven't seen him as a number 10 yet. So whether he comes in and plays that role on the opening day, I don't know. But in terms of the kind of the side and the starting 11, I don't think we necessarily saw the kind of full dress rehearsal that we maybe thought we would.
Can we just clear something up on the number 10 position and roles? Because obviously a lot of people listening to this pod would have been lucky enough to go to games, but many more are further afield and won't have seen any of the games. With the lineup as it was on Saturday, so you've got Pigott up front and Bon. Who is playing what role there? Then because they're not two. It's not like a 4-4-2, is it? Who's in the number 10, as it were, there?
Depends. In many ways, if you look at it, it is a 4-4-2. At many times, if you look at it, I think nominally you see that Pigott is maybe the one coming deeper to try and maybe get the ball and lay it off potentially. But I think particularly with Saturday in mind, that is where some of the issues arose for Ipswich, because kind of moving the ball. It seems strange to say because Lee Evans and Raheem Harper actually kept the ball really nicely in midfield, particularly Evans at times, but just moving it between them and then getting it forward was the issue, and they lacked a number 10 as such. So it's been a bit. For me, it's been a bit of the puzzle of this pre-season, really, because we know that Paul Cook is so keen on 4-2-3-1. We've not really seen it. I guess you could probably say that's what he's played at times, but at so many others, it has looked like a 4-4-2.
Yeah.
He has also stressed at other times that there'll be moments where two strikers are needed on the pitch because teams sit so deep, particularly at Portman Road, to try and avoid conceding. So I don't know. Maybe there's a theory that he's maybe trying to prepare for that. Maybe he's expecting that's what they need early on, particularly with a team like Morecambe coming to Portman Road, and then obviously the Newport game, and then sort of other less fancied teams coming to Portman Road early on. Maybe he thinks the best route to getting the job done in these early games is to have those two strikers, and he's trying to work out the best combination of those. But for me, I think long term, Scott Fraser's the man to play in there. So hopefully he's over his knock and can get cracking with that.
It's fluid. Be like water, my friend, as Bruce Lee once said. Be like water. Roscoe, give me some positives from Saturday. The boy Hutchie there, he talked about Evans and Harper. I know Evans certainly sounds to me like he had a very good game, and I've been extremely impressed with him and Harper, actually. What stood out for you on Saturday?
I think KVY and Wes Burns partnership. They're both very quick, and I think it's always good to have your right winger and your right back. That partnership, you like that, and they also cover each other as well, because Wes Burns can play right back. It's not a positive; it's a takeaway. I'm sure Hutchie can would be interested in talking about this. Of course, they wore the away kit on Saturday, which was very strange. I think maybe that's why the game was very flat when the players came out. It just felt, I don't know.
That was the reason. The whole game.
I don't know.
Such an influence.
Yeah.
I don't know. The fans, I don't know. They must have just think.
So they walk out wearing the boring, dull white kit, and the fans have gone.
Oh, forget it.
That's it.
Let's go.
They're having a laugh today. I'm off.
No, it was weird though, weren't it? You're at home and you're wearing the away kit. Is it because Millwall haven't got an away kit at the moment and they need to just wear their home kit, or is it just an agreement? I don't know.
I'd imagine cynically it's because they want to try and sell the away kit, isn't it?
I think that's exactly what it is. It's not uncommon for teams to wear away kits at home in pre-season. I think that's exactly why they're doing it. That kit went on general sale, I think, the day before, and they've got a lot of them in the shop, and they've sold a bucket load of home kits. Like, there's every chance they've sold, like, everyone that's going to buy one has probably got one of those home kits by now. They've sold out of loads of the sizes. By all accounts, you couldn't get like a sort of medium large adult size in the shop. So why not give a live advert to the one that you can buy?
Can you buy, boys, that absolute sex pink goalkeeper's top in short sleeves though? Because I'm not having a long sleeve goalkeeper's top. Can you get the pink one in short sleeves? Do you know, Hutchie?
I think it is going to be available. 1 second.
Oh, Hutchie,
he's got it, isn't he? Has he got it?
He's not got it.
He's got it.
What? How have you? Hold on. No. Hold on.
Yes.
How have I got it?
Yeah.
How do you reckon?
You've stolen it.
Yep.
Look, come on. You can't just whap that bad boy out and not explain where you got it from. I mean, that's not it's not even on general sale, is it yet?
I just found it.
Come on. Tell the people how you got your hands.
It's on sale.
Is it? And you bought it?
And I bought it, yeah, because I like it.
Just hold it up to people watching on video can see it. They can see it close and in person. Is it as nice in person, Hutchie, as it looks? Oh, yeah, that is nice, isn't it?
Controversial. I don't think it is as nice as I thought.
Oh.
But I've still got it.
Why have you bought it then?
Because I'm a bit of a saddo and I love these kind of things.
What are you going to do with that? You've got, for those again watching on video and for those listening, just over Hutchie's right-hand shoulder is like a clothes rail of Ipswich Town shirts through the years. What is that? How are you going to store them from now on, Hutchie? Are they going to go in a frame?
Oh no. Yeah, I've just got them on this rail. Yeah.
Do you ever just whack them on, wear them around the house, that sort of stuff?
Nope.
They just turn a rail.
No,
amazing.
Very, very rarely. Yeah.
Okay. Well, passion. I like it.
Yeah. Just something I like. I'm not alone.
Yeah. Going back to from the absolute fire of that goalkeeper's kit, back to the kind of low of the defeat on Saturday, Hutchie. What we talked about things that were positive, and I don't know if you want to add anything more there, but should we talk about a couple of the negatives as well? You said there are clear areas for concern after that.
Yeah, just I think the kind of the lack of being able to smoothly kind of move the ball forward. They, especially in the first half, they had a good spell kind of towards the end of the first half, which is actually where Millwall scored their opening goal. Ipswich were on top at this point, but a lot of the best Ipswich moments came from not necessarily Millwall mistakes, but almost winning the ball back high up rather than working the ball into those areas, which is a concern. And then if you just look at the goals, just far too much space given to Millwall for all three of them. That the first one's a bit of a break forward, which they end up working from left to right, and there's two men over on the right side. I think Hladky could have done a fair bit better actually with that first one, but he's been excellent in pre-season, so nothing to overly panic about there. He could have done more for that one before Afobe tapped it in. Millwall dragged them around the pitch for the second one. I don't know how many passes they strung together, but it was plenty, and it ended up with a centre back like marching forward and crossing from the byline. Jake Cooper always seems to do something against Ipswich. He's a big mountain of a defender, so he gets to the byline and pulls it back, and the Ipswich defence are sitting far too deep. I think it's Nsiala that tries to lunge out and cut out Cooper's ball back to Afobe, and he's so deep that lunge is just, he just can't reach it. And then from the corner for the third one, it completely switched off. I think it was Malone that took the corner. Dobra was doing what he was asked to do, which is pressurise the taker and sort of give an angle there. But Wallace is just alone on the edge of the box. Dobra tries to get back. I think it's Matt Penny comes absolutely charging off the post to get to the edge of the box, but can't get there, and it's lashed in. So there are some areas for concern, but you have to remember this is Millwall, a championship side against a kind of, to use Mark Ashton's expression again, it's an Ipswich League One team that's being an aeroplane being built in flight. It's pre-season, and it's a Millwall team that, as Paul Cook pointed out after the game, is barely changed from last season and the season before that, really. So I wouldn't be getting too overly panicked by this.
I definitely wouldn't want to go on an aeroplane that's being built in flight, boys. I'm not a big fan of flying anyway, and I definitely don't want to get on a plane that hasn't got wings attached as it takes off.
I wouldn't put it past Ryanair to do that.
You got to pay extra if you want a fully built plane. All right.
Yeah, you buy your own wing.
Yeah, sort it out. You'll work it out. If it's only $199, what do you expect? Roscoe, what concerns you about Saturday? We've talked quite a lot in this pre-season about set pieces and failing to pick people up. That seems to be a common theme. Was there anything else that particularly concerned you?
Not really, to be honest. It's pre-season, and you don't want to look into it too much. It's all about fitness. I think it was concerned when I didn't see Ryan Fraser. That's the other Scottish guy who played for Town.
That's going to happen so often.
It's going to happen. But yeah, Scott Fraser, I was disappointed, to see him not play. And, that's been the worry, that he's been playing out on the wing, which is not really his position. And I've been nice to see him playing that 10 role for this game. But, as I said, he had a bit of a knock. But nothing really concerns me. It was good to see Connor Chaplin for the first time, see him in action. He is very tiny, actually. I knew you said he was, but to see him in the flesh, he's a little boy. But nothing really to concern me, really. I'm just looking forward to Saturday, and that is when the real stuff happens. 3 points on the line. And, I'll be very concerned if we then lose that game. And then, the cynics and the fans who are still very much still a bit worried about things will come out of the closet and go, yeah, told you so. But wait and see.
Saturday's going to be absolutely amazing. We should, of course, like Rossi says there, actually mentioned Connor Chaplin. It's like the Wild West, wasn't it? The players coming on that weren't even on the team sheet. What's going on there?
Yeah, Millwall the biggest culprits of this, but Ipswich left Connor Chaplin off the team sheet, and nobody knew that he was involved. He came out to warm up, but that's not hugely uncommon. Players who aren't making benches do come out and warm up at times. It's not like something that never happens. So I didn't think too much of that. But he got 20 minutes at the end off the bench and played as the number 10, which is fine. I'm sure that's something he may do going forward. But he didn't have too many big moments, let's be honest. There was one where he's kind of scooped a really nice ball through for Vincent Young to have a chance that got blocked behind. But other than that, he didn't have too many moments on the ball.
Okay. Any other notes? One thing I want to talk about, boys, which is not something that happened on the pitch, something that happened in the crowd. Checkbook FC chants. Rossi, you obviously were doing the sights and sounds today. You sent me a video. We put it on socials, and it's one of the most watched things we've ever put on social. I think it's on 11,000 views at the moment, and a real split in the fan base between those who think it's just a bit of fun and those who think that people who sing it should be jailed. I think it's about 60-40 on the KOA vote in terms of it being an embarrassing cringe fest. Where do you stand on that, boys? And it's difficult, obviously, because we're not in with the fans, as it were. We're there from a professional capacity. But Hutchie, you got any views on Checkbook FC chants?
Can I just say no? Like, I think it's all right, isn't it? It's not. I think it's not something. Honestly, I don't think there's something that's going to kind of live on forever. I think this is kind of in the moment thing, kind of almost having a laugh about it, isn't it? That's how I would. Isn't this when I would see it?
They were 3-0 down, weren't they, at the time as well, Rossi, when those chants were going. So yeah, Rossi, any thoughts? I know you got some views, and in the game day, Mark Beck and Mike, who I thought, by the way, maybe the best double act since Morecambe and Wise post game. Mark wasn't at all happy about West Ham chants from the crowd.
That was strange.
Yeah,
I know we're playing Millwall and that's their rival, but can't they remember that West Ham 2 years in a row knocked us out in the playoff semis? I was very young then, and I was heartbroken and crying to lose those. And when I heard Forever blowing bubbles, I thought, "Come on, guys, what's going on here? This is not even just no."
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a bit of fun in that Checkbook FC. I'm sure maybe it wasn't wise for us to maybe film it and then put it out, because maybe no one would have seen it and no one would have cared, because I think it wasn't. It's only a small section, but I think it's just a bit of fun in it.
That's what you're there. That's what you're there for, though, Rossi, to do sights and sounds. I mean, my take on it, I'm really surprised by the strength of anti-opinion, because it's just a bit of fun, isn't it? Just a bit of fun. It's football. It's not life and death. It's fun. It's panto, in my opinion. Anyway, obviously, I know a lot of other people very vehemently disagree and would want to probably fight me over that. But there we go. There you go. Checkbook FC chance. We'll see. We'll monitor that this season, Ross. See what happens. Checkbook FC wise. Boys, any other notes from the game before we move on? Hutchie?
No, not really. Other than just to say, just really looking forward to the proper stuff beginning. I don't honestly. As much as there were some issues in this one, of course there were. It's not. It doesn't change how I feel about the team, especially going into the Morecambe game. So yeah, I'm not panicking about it.
Rossi, anything else to mention before we move on?
Just the big shout out to the guys who took part in game day. So Dan, who's part of the fan social, Mark Beck, as you mentioned, good old Mike, with a bucket hat. Of course, Scrumpy Daniel, good old Daniel, who has done stuff for me in the past, and he's a keen listener to our podcast. And also Neil Patton and his kid, who did a shout out to people in St Ives. So thanks for taking part, and anyone who's listening at game at Morecambe, say hello and get involved.
Shout out to the people in St Ives. Any particular reason?
Family. I think they got family there. So.
Okay.
Big up St Ives.
Big up St Ives. I used to live just down the road from St Ives, a lovely little village called Needingworth. Anyway, I digress. Hutchie, we'd normally start with sexy stuff. Town have signed 10. We know they're after more before the big kickoff. There's a little update you put online yesterday about Bersant Salina and Hayden Coulson. Do you want to just bring people up to speed who may have missed that?
Just they're two managers talking about it. I think we're getting into Paul Warne, Matt Crooks territory with Neil Warnock now. He's being asked regularly about Hayden Coulson, and what he's saying is that there's no way he's going to be allowed out on loan, given Middlesbrough's shortage of left backs at the moment, which I think is probably understandable. I don't think that changes both Middlesbrough's desire to move Coulson out on loan and Ipswich's desire to bring him in. It might just hit the timing a little bit. It'd be interesting to see how long Ipswich are happy to hang around on this one without going overboard about it. Matt Penny at left back is probably one of the positions I'm less comfortable about than others during pre-season. Again, not going too mad about that, but maybe not one that stood out compared to some of the others. So they definitely need a new left back. It's just how long they're willing to hang around on Coulson there, because I know it's a loan deal they still really want to do. They still got faith they can do it, and all accounts Middlesbrough are keen to do it as well. So it's just Mark Boller, their left back is out at the moment. They're bidding on others. I'd expect that one to probably still happen, just a question of timing.
Okay, and Selina's got COVID, hasn't he?
Yeah, he had COVID in June, and came back to Dijon in July. So it's been around the club there, but the Dijon manager has just said there's some complications. How much it didn't go mad about this in the story that we wrote due to the fact it's all come from France and kind of through Google Translate and stuff, but the translation points towards some complications with COVID, which is around the heart area, it says, which obviously you don't take any risks on. Can't pretend to have huge knowledge of exactly the medical situation of Selina at the moment, but that's just the explanation of why he's not involved for them at the moment. And obviously it's something that Ipswich would be very interested in, because he's still a player. He's still a player they want. Whether they get him or not remains to be seen. We've always thought it was ambitious. It remains ambitious. There are still other teams interested, but from what I understand, it's very much seen as kind of the cherry on the cake signing, rather than if we don't get him, we've left a hole in the squad kind of signing. The rest of the Ipswich's business will be done, and then if Bersant Selina can be added on top of that, he's a clear upgrade, I would imagine, on anything that would be in this division potentially on his day. So yeah, that one. I think that one's going to be in play until it's not, essentially.
Your gut feeling before the big kickoff, actually, are we going to see any new faces, do you think, this week before more can come?
Potentially. Potentially, it's an interesting time, because this first week of August has become a bit of a time where maybe some free agents that have not signed on elsewhere perhaps get that little push to maybe take something, because as we know, football contracts end at the end of June. But as part of those, there's a requirement for a severance payment, which essentially is paid as a 13th month of a contract in July. So with Ipswich targeting players from higher up the football pyramid, there's undoubtedly players potentially that are earning good salaries out there that have become free agents that they'll be looking at, that were still being paid those salaries through July. And this is not talking about anybody in particular whatsoever, and not necessarily even about Ipswich, because I think this could be something that we see this week in general, is some free agents that have been on the market all summer finally make moves that have been in the works for some time, just because of that financial situation. Because obviously if you sign in July on a potentially a lower contract, you no longer get that severance money that was there in July. So it just makes financial sense for people to do that. So not necessarily Ipswich, and certainly not talking about anyone in particular here, but clubs up and down the Championship, League One. I think you could see some free agents make long-awaited moves this week. Okay, so you're saying Didier Drogba is going to be starting up front on Saturday? Well, I'm not sure where his severance money's coming from, but it's again, it's another one. Until it doesn't happen,
exactly,
it's going to happen.
It could happen. Rossi, we sit here now at the end of pre-season on the week that Town are going to start their League One campaign, their third League One campaign. How do you reflect on pre-season? As far as pre-season goes, this has been a pretty good one, hasn't it, in terms of nature of the games and things to look out for?
Yeah, they've had competitive games. I think even Dartford gave them a game a little bit. I know that's very much the first competitive minutes for every single player. But they've been good watches, really. Colchester was a thriller. As mentioned, Dartford was a nice away day, lovely set up there. I wasn't at Bury, but I'm sure that was just a nice day for the fans who are local to the area to watch that, see some of the bomb squad in action. And then the Palace and Millwall games are just the homecoming in it for all the fans back in the stadium, and that was just great days. I think the Palace one was more. I felt like it was just more excitement for that one, and it also has nicer weather. The Millwall game absolutely chucked the down before the game, and I think a lot of people are just thinking, "Oh, God's sake, here we go, we're back again, getting rained on." But it's pre-season's all about just fitness and getting the team to gel a little bit. But it's now time for the real stuff.
Oh, yes. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Hutchie, Rossi there mentions the bomb squad. One member of that bomb squad who seems to be kind of working his way back around the fringes, Caden Jackson, played again on Saturday. Are you getting the sense that Caden might be coming back into the plans now, or what's the state of play there?
It's not something that Paul Cook's going to want to talk about. So it's not something we're going to hear from the horse's mouth. I think there was a question to him at the weekend, potentially leading towards asking about that, and he shut it down very quickly. So it's not something we're going to hear about from Paul. My gut feeling is probably still no. I don't see, once you're kind of down to a 7-man bench and Edmondson and Fraser are involved, I don't see where he fits into an 18. If Norwood, Bonn, Piggott, Fraser, Chaplin are available, then I can't see where he fits into that. Caden's a good guy. He's a popular guy. It's maybe a tick in the box of kind of showing the right attitude, but he wasn't necessarily in that bomb squad for attitude reasons. He was in there for footballing reasons. So I don't necessarily see how those footballing reasons are going to change for him, especially with more players likely to arrive as well.
Okay, we'll see. In terms of your thoughts on pre-season, Hutchie, is there anything you particularly remember about this? I guess the main talking point really is the return of fans, isn't it? And the kind of extra atmosphere and intensity that seemed to bring to what would normally be fairly pedestrian games.
Yeah, undoubtedly. It's I don't think the players have been able to help themselves, but maybe play beyond what they would normally do in pre-season. Just because it's just so nice to have some fans back in the ground. It's having 2 sets of fans in grounds, which has been great for me. Just having away fans at both the away games and then the home games too. So it's been a good pre-season with some really good games.
And now the real stuff begins, Hutchie. This Saturday, Morecambe are the visitors. The sun's going to shine because it always does on the first day of the season. Portman Road's going to be looking smarter than it has done in years. Do we know yet if the owners are going to be there? Are they going to? I think technically you're still not allowed to come in, are you, from America? I don't know.
Yeah, I think the rules have changed a little bit on that, but from what I gather, it might not be happening for this first
Too soon.
Game.
How many fans do you reckon are going to be there? 20,000, you reckon?
Possibly, yeah. Working towards that, I would say. I think anything more than that is maybe a bit ambitious at this point, but I think somewhere between 17 and 20 would be my guess.
And how excited are you for this? You're a veteran of football reporting. You've covered many teams over many seasons. This, I get the feeling though, this particular kickoff with Ipswich Town, everything that's happened in the summer, is going to be kind of unique in a way. You've used the term before, rebirth of a club, and for me, that's what Saturday is going to be, isn't it?
I love the opening day of every season. It is brilliant, but this is it's just so exciting. I'm genuinely really excited for it. I'm going to make sure I don't go anywhere that means I'm going to get pinged. Between now and the weekend. I'm just really looking forward to it. There's so many people out there that have been waiting so long for this, not just from kind of going to the game sense, but just having this real feeling of optimism again. It's going to be really special.
And your partner in crime, Stu Watson, will be back for that game, just to reassure people. He's taken the Ledley King approach to pre-season. This pre-season, he's not going to bother with any of the training. He's just going to turn up on the day and do it. Rossi, how excited are you about Saturday?
Oh, I'm hoping it is going to be a sunny day.
It always is.
But I don't know. The weather's been a bit. I know it's a standard British thing to do is talk about the weather, but hopefully, I hope it's going to be a nice day. I'm with Hutchie. I think it'll probably be about 17, 18, maybe, I think reaching maybe 20,000. I think it depends on people a few days before the game going, you know what, should we go to Portland Road? We've got nothing else to do. Because, there'll be families who probably are still on their holidays somewhere. Or what's this? Oh, sun, a bit of rain.
That's the weather forecast. What does it
say? Rain from 2:00.
Oh dear.
It won't happen. I guarantee it. The sun always shines on the first day of the football season. Whatever that forecast says is wrong. It will be resplendent, sunny, and hot on Saturday at Portman Road.
You know what we really
I can't
need?
wait.
Rainbow.
What?
Yeah. It's a rainbow. That would top it all off perfectly, wouldn't it?
That's what we need. That would be perfect at the end of Portman Road, the rebirth of the club. That'd be a perfect metaphor. Obviously, money at the end of the rainbow, checkbook FC, and all that sort of stuff. Boys, I've stuck to KOA Light. It's just over half an hour, which I think is a good time to take our leave. I would love to be at the game on Saturday, but I'm going to be somewhere else, boys. Do you know where I'm going to be on Saturday? I'm going to be in Eddie Hearn's back garden.
Barbecue, is
Brentwood, mate.
He's having a big barbecue.
There. Yeah, well, actually, you say that, but one of my friends, Stewie Drake, is actually doing the barbecue in Eddie Hearn's back garden. So I'll be probably availing myself of a large burger before I watch Fabio Wardley, Ipswich Town fan Fabio Wardley, former member of the academy, top mates with Macaulay Bonne from his Chantry days. He's defending his English title in Eddie Hearn's back garden. Co-main event live on DAZN this Saturday. Big fight. Huge day for Ipswich Town. Town beat Morecambe 17-0. Fabio knocks out Nick Webb in the first round. What a day that's going to be. And me and Rossi are going to go and see Fabio this lunchtime. So look out for stuff from that. We might as well chuck the video on the KOA channel, Rossi. I think there's some Ipswich Town interest in Fabio. There's certainly some links there with him. Hutchie, anything to mention before we take our leave and get on with things?
I'd quite like to go to a barbecue at Eddie Hearn's house. I reckon that there's going to be no expense spared on that, is there? I can imagine he has had some, probably not with a boxing show going on at the same time, but some epic barbecues in that back garden.
I shall report back. Stewie is not your average barbecuer, I'd say. He's kind of a top level chef, so it's certainly not going to be a normal barbecue. The burgers are probably going to have gold leaf on them, which is
you're definitely working. You're working as a journalist, right? You're not like a barbecue kind of waiter or something with your mate.
Yeah, that's the only way I've got in, mate. I'm serving food to the proper journalists in the front row. No, I am definitely working. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I do wish I could be at Portman Road at the same time, but I think timings are going to be out on that. I've got to get to Brentwood nice and early for the ferry in.
For the barbecue.
Yeah, for the barbecue,
that's
exactly. Can't miss that burger. Rossi, anything to mention before we take our leave?
Yeah, I just want to say happy birthday to my mum.
Oh,
it's her birthday today. So she won't listen to this, but just happy birthday to Mum Liz. So there we go. Happy
birthday, Mummy Halls.
Well, her last name's Day because my parents are divorced. So move on.
Okay. happy birthday, Liz Day. Tremendous. Hope you have a great day, Liz.
So
in terms of the rest of the week, guys, obviously this is the busiest week pretty much for us of the year. We've got a kick-off supplement coming out on Friday in the Star and Anglian, 16 pages. That's going to be tremendous. Interviews in there with Mark Ashton and Lee Evans. We've clearly got the big season preview podcast, hoping to record that on Wednesday, so it should be out there Wednesday night for you to consume. There'll be a fan social, some sort of season preview, I assume, as well, Rossi? They will be. Also, the League One Lowdown, Rossi's passion project, speaking to fans, podcasters, journalists, covering every League One club. That's out there for you to enjoy. A team-by-team preview. Do go and get involved in that. That's tremendous stuff. And remember to follow us across all social medias. Kings of Anglia on Twitter, YouTube, just cracked 2K. So keep subscribing there, Facebook and Instagram. Leave us a 5-star review on iTunes because it helps us with visibility in the charts. And also, obviously, support our sponsor, manscaped.com. Use the code KOA at manscaped.com for 20% off and free delivery. That's the code KOA, manscaped.com for 20% off and free delivery. Boys, there's so much to be excited about this week. We better get on with it. Hope everyone has a great start to the week. Look out for the season preview, and we'll talk to you again then.
Love you, Mum.